A middle-aged man approached the Buddha, his face full of anger and pain. He asked, "Master, I have tried my best to become a good person. I endure, I help, I sacrifice for my family and friends. But in return, I only receive misunderstanding, selfishness, and betrayal. Why is my life still full of suffering, even when I try to be good?" The Buddha didn't answer him directly. Instead, he gave him a handful of salt and said, "Take this salt and put it in this glass of water. Stir it and drink." The man did as he was told. But after drinking, his face twisted. "Master, this water is too salty and bitter. I can't drink this, Master." And then the Buddha said, "Take the same amount of salt and throw it on that lake over there." The man followed the instruction. The Buddha spoke again. "Now, scoop up a bowl of water from that lake and drink it." After drinking, the man was surprised. "Master, this water is not salty at all. It still tastes normal." Then the Buddha asked him, "It's the same amount of salt. Why then is this glass of water unbearably salty, while the lake is not salty at all?" The man thought for a moment. Then he said, "Master, because the glass is too small and the lake is very large." At that moment, the Buddha smiled and nodded. He said, "Suffering, misunderstanding, and betrayal in your life are like that handful of salt. No one can live without tasting them. The problem is not how much salt life gives you, but whether your heart is like a small glass of water or like a vast lake. If your heart is too small, clinging tightly to every wound, then just a little salt is enough to make your whole life bitter. But if you expand your heart, grow compassion and understanding, then those pains still exist, but they are no longer enough to break you." The man was silent, and then he put his hands together and bowed. "Master, now I see that all this time I kept blaming life for giving me salt. more salt without realizing that my own heart is too small. That day on his way home, he still had the same old pain, old worries, but his heart felt lighter. The moral of the story is suffering is part of life and no one can avoid it. The important thing is the capacity of our heart. The narrower our heart, the easier we suffer over everything. But the wider our heart, the easier we find peace in the middle of difficulties. So if you want to suffer less, don't just ask life to give you less salt. Learn instead to expand your heart as wide as a lake. James Allen once said, and I quote, "The greatest discovery of our generation is that a man can alter his life by altering his attitudes." Brian Tracy once said, "You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control your attitude toward what happens to you. And in that, you will be mastering change rather than allowing it to master you." The winner's edge is not in a gifted birth, a high IQ, or in talent. The winner's edge is all in the attitude, not aptitude. Attitude is the criteria for success. Dennis Waitley or Vince Lombardi said it. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali once said, "Each of us possesses a precious treasure of infinite worth. To remain unaware of this and stumble about in spiritual poverty is a tragic waste. In contrast, a person fully awakened to the jewel-like dignity of their own life is truly capable of respecting that treasure in others."